name is Benjamin Bernstein, and I'm with astroshaman.com. I'm an astrologer and a shamanic healer and an awakening activator, and I'm delighted to be giving you the first in a series of weekly astrology forecasts. I do these forecasts already on my weekly audio podcast, This Week in Astrology, and on my website, astroshaman.com, and it's my pleasure now to be putting them on video. So, let's get into the week of March 3rd, 2014. What I'd like to start with is a foundation of what's already happening in the sky. So what we have right now is a waxing moon, and we actually have 6 retrograde planets in the sky at the moment. They include Jupiter, Pallas Athena, Mars, Vesta, Ceres, and Saturn. We also have a phenomenon called a T-square going on in the sky. It's kind of a right triangle in the sky. It has Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto involved, and it's the energy of revolutionary transformation. It's been going on since January and will be with us until May. I'll be saying more about this powerful pattern in the coming weeks as it peaks in latter April. But let's focus right now on what's new this week, the week of March 3rd, 2014. It's time to integrate different aspects of femininity as 3 asteroid goddesses and Venus form a complex aspect pattern. This one's called a double yod key. Plumbing the depths of the psyche is encouraged as the Sun conjuncts Chiron and sextiles Pluto. We also have Jupiter turning direct, unconventional relating, and creativity as Venus enters Aquarius, and more. So let's dive into our individual days of the week, and we'll get into what's going on in more detail. Let's begin on Monday, March 3rd. Now, I'm not going to hit every single thing I hit in my audio podcast, which is a little more for, detailed aficionados of astrology, but I'll be giving you the most important stuff here for sure. We open with a Moon-Uranus conjunction, and that is exact at 4:50 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And the Moon and Uranus both are around 11 degrees Aries. What happens with Moon conjunctions is for a few hours either side, you have an energy that is amplified a bit. In this case, it's revolutionary transformation, individual expression, and humanitarian service. That is the energy of the planet Uranus stimulated by its conjunction to the Moon. Then we have the asteroid goddess Juno entering Aries. Aries is a sign of initiation, the new warrior, new beginnings and the warrior. Juno has many meanings. Among them are, domestic, holding down the fort. Juno was the faithful wife of Zeus in the myth. So new beginnings and committed relationship is a really good way to use Juno in Aries. Either starting a new one or putting new energy into the one you've already got. Our first non-lunar aspect today, a non-asteroid goddess aspect, is the Sun sextile Pluto. This is with the Sun around 13 Pisces and Pluto around 13 Capricorn. Personal transformation is strongly empowered under this aspect. With the Sun in Pisces, divine union practices and inspired creativity are also smoothly energized. The Sun has a second aspect today. It's conjunct Chiron. And both these planets are around 13 degrees Pisces. The Sun juices up mentoring and healing activities as it joins Chiron here. These planets' placement in Pisces shows that spiritual versions of these activities will receive special support. Now, in relation to both these aspects, both Pluto and Chiron love to plumb the depths of the psyche. If challenging emotional or psychological material comes up for processing, you may find my healing invocation helpful. And the shortcut version of this is simply to speak to the divine within yourself, and you just say, maximum clearing that serves highest good please. Or if you prefer, maximum healing that serves highest good please. You can learn more about my invocations by going to astroshaman.com, going to the homepage. Right there at the top of the sidebar, you'll see a purple box, and it says Heal and Awaken Invocations. Click it, and it will take you to a few articles about how this works. And the healing invocation is the 6th one down. It's got a picture of a guy, his eyes are squeezed shut, and he's got his fist clenched, and he's really angry. And it's about how to work with negative emotions as they come up. So you can use that if you want. And next I want to talk about the double yod key that is the highlight of the week. It's not often that a complex aspect pattern includes only feminine planets, but that is what's happening today as this double yod key comes into form. It actually includes Venus as well as the asteroid goddesses Pallas Athena, Vesta, and Juno. This is a 4-day aspect pattern. It peaks on March 5th and ends on March 6th. Now, I'm going to get technical for just a moment, so if this is too much astrologies, it'll be over in less than a minute. A double yod key is two interlocked yods. What is a yod? It's also called the finger of God. And it's a three-planet configuration featuring two quincunxes, those are 150-degree aspects, and a sextile, which is a 30-degree aspect. A yod strongly calls for adjustments so that the energies of the two planets on the back end can connect with the planet at the tip. Blending two yods into a double yod key creates an aspect pattern bordered by a square, which is 90 degrees, a quincunx, and two sextiles. And now the astrology is heavy is over. We can get back more to plain English. The double yod key calls for adjustment and integration among different feminine energies. Venus values beauty, balance, and harmony. Pallas Athena radiates assertiveness, strategic cunning, and practical creativity. Vesta embodies sacred sexuality and devotion to a higher cause. Juno represents queenliness, marriage and commitment, and the renewal of love. Sounds good. This integration of these very different ways of using feminine energy may not be simple or easy, but while this double yod key is active through March 6th, it can be a good time to observe these different energies within yourself and make whatever adjustments feel appropriate. And this is just not for the ladies. You guys have these feminine qualities within yourself as well. So that's Monday. Let's move on to Tuesday, March 4th. Today we have a Venus-Uranus quintile. A quintile is 1/5 of the circle, 72 degrees. Venus is around 29 Capricorn and Uranus is around 11 Aries. And what you get here is fresh inspiration regarding finances, creativity, and relationships. Those are the three things that Venus fundamentally represents as a planet for everybody. Now, heed your intuitive flashes. That's the Uranus part. That's how that outer planet communicates. It gives you that little text message from God popping in. With Venus in Capricorn, these themes may be especially relevant in practical and business settings. Next, on Tuesday, March 4th, we have a void moon. That's kicking in at 12:32 p.m. Now, the thing about void moons is this is when the moon has made its last Ptolemaic aspect, and it's in a little no man's land, still in its prior sign, but it's considered wandering a bit until it hits the next sign. And the practical advice around void of course moons is try not to start major new stuff or make major purchases while the moon is void of course. Hang out at least until it hits the next sign. So that's the idea around void of course moons. So this one again is starting at 12:32 p.m. and it resolves at 2:13 p.m. This is when the moon comes into the sign of Taurus. The moon is said to be in its exaltation in Taurus. And a moon in Taurus gives you a 2.5 day period where there's a little more energy around just being. I like to say we're not human doings, we're human beings. Good time to get out in nature, indulge the five senses, get a massage, really be in your body in the world. And that's everything for Tuesday, March 4th. On Wednesday, March 5th, we have Venus entering the sign of Aquarius. She's going to be there through April 5th. This is a great time to connect with unconventional people and experiment with unconventional relationship styles. Be bold and adventurous in your creative expression and listen to your intuitive flashes regarding financial matters. Also today, we have Pallas Athena entering the sign of Leo. Pallas Athena is the warrior goddess. I like to say she's the goddess that kicks butt and takes names. So she represents three primary things. She represents feminine assertiveness, strategic cunning, and practical creativity, as I've already mentioned in this video. And when she comes into Leo, Leo is the sign of the performer in the spotlight and the queen. So to me, this kind of says that if you have any of these qualities that I just described that you want to be a little more out there with, this is a good time to strut them a little bit more. Also here on March 5th, we have that double yod key I was mentioning coming to its peak, so it will be strongest today. Moving along to Thursday, March 6th, we have Jupiter turning direct, and Jupiter has been retrograde since November 7th. If you've been mulling over decisions relating to religion, the meaning of life, or new quests, Jupiter's forward motion now supports taking action on those. What else do we have going on today? A void moon is here on Thursday, March 6th. That's kicking in at 8:55 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and it will resolve as the moon enters Gemini, and that will be at 9:38 p.m., so most of the day. The moon in Gemini is great for learning and communicating and being a little bit of a trickster, if you like, and also loving variety. Mercury's all about variety. I like to say it's like 10 different fingers and 10 different pies. As we get into the next several days, we don't have quite so much going on. On Friday, March 7th, there's really no major events to discuss. The same's true for Saturday. So we'll wrap up this video forecast by looking at Sunday, March 9th. And we have a void moon kicking in at 2:53 a.m. This lasts almost 7 hours. The moon will hit Cancer at 9:33 a.m. exactly. The moon is said to rule Cancer. It's said to be in dignity in that sign. So the moon in Cancer is a wonderful time for the energies of family and security and nurturing. And finally, we have a new aspect pattern kicking in here on Sunday. It's a T-square. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier, the right triangle, 90 plus 90 plus 180. And the three planets involved here are Mercury, Saturn, and the asteroid goddess Pallas Athena. This one's going to peak on the 13th of March and end on March 18th. Strategic planning for practical applications is supported by this T-square. With Mercury in Aquarius, be sure to ask for intuitive flashes to inspire and guide your mental work. So that ends this 7 days forecast, but I want to give you a sneak peek about what I'll be talking about next week. The week of March 10th, we have several notable astrological events. We have a full moon in Virgo. Mercury is going to be squaring Saturn and trining Mars, and the Sun will also be interacting with the same two planets, but with different aspects. The Sun will be trining Saturn and quincunxing Mars. I'll be here to share that with you and much more on next week's video forecast. Again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. You can access a more detailed version of this forecast on my audio podcast, This Week in Astrology. Just go to iTunes and search that name, or search that name on the web. You'll find it. And my website is astroshaman.com. Again, I'm an astrologer, a shamanic healer, and an awakening activator. And if I can be of service, it would be my pleasure. Thanks so much for watching my forecast.